All right. Today we are continuing our small mini satsang on Aparoksh Anubhuti, written by Bhagavad Pad Jagat Guru Adi Shankaracharya. We've already started this last week and we have completed 2 shlokas. I'm not going to be taking every shloka of this wonderful text, but things which I find that will be helpful for us and keep the flow. But today, actually, I am going to do the 3rd shlok. So let's chant it. Swavarnashramadharmena tapasa haritoshanat sadhanam prabhavit pumsam vairagyadi chatushtayam. The translation goes, the 4 preliminary qualifications, that is the means to the attainment of knowledge, such as vairagya and the like, are acquired by men of propitiating by propitiating Hari the Lord through austerities and the performance of duties pertaining to their social order and stage of life. Okay, what does all this mean? So if you remember, last Thursday, we did the 2nd shloka. And as all shastras, they begin with what is the purpose of this shastra, who should be reading this text, and how should you be reading the text. So let's recap. What is the purpose of Aparoksh Anubhuti as a shastra? It is to attain self-realization. What is the qualification recommended in order to read this text and benefit by it? Bhagwan says, a wise and good person needs to go into this text, study this text, a wise and a good person. And how should you use this text? As a guide, slowly, step by step, the entire Shastra will take you from the beginning to the very end of the spiritual journey. You know, you must be remembering that when we did Sadhana Panchakam, we said the same thing, that this is Sadhana Panchakam is a text which takes you from a beginner's point of view, a beginner's stage of the spiritual journey to the very peak of the spiritual journey. And this text is also doing the same thing. Because the truth is only one. And again, we have to revise, we have to go to that same truth, because at some stage, it will click with us. So, same things happening in Aparoksh Anubhuti as well as in Sadhana Panchakam. Today, Shlok 3. So since this text, this Shastra, is meant for wise and good persons, right? Sadbhi, wise and good persons. So the question arises, how does one become wise and good? What kind of qualifications do you need? What kind of preparation do you need? So Bhagwan Adi Shankaracharya gives us 4 steps over here. 1, he says, propitiate Bhagwan, propitiate Sri Hari, worship Sri Hari. 1. 2, austerities, perform austerities. 3, perform your duties. And 4, develop the 4 qualifications required to understand the Gyan. So let's go to these 4 different criterias. The first one is propitiate Sri Hari, Haritosha Nata. Now, in order to progress on the path of spirituality, to get liberation, to get a Aparoksh Anubhuti, you have to develop humility. You have to develop devotion. You have to develop surrenderfulness. You see, the end result of this journey is to identify yourself as that supreme being, Aham Brahmasmi, and not as a limited being with limited capabilities, with limited strengths, with limited knowledge. We have to come out of this limited kind of concept of who we are and move on to having nishtha, a firm understanding, a firm belief that I am actually, in essence, that supreme eternal being. So in order to do this, now I am, at the bottom, completely limited, and I want to be that supreme being. So there is a way to move from this bottommost to the topmost concept of who we are. And so to do that, there are stages, there are steps. So you first connect with that Bhagwan that is sakar, that is manifest, that has got form, that we, actually do puja to. And once that connection is made, then you'll be able to go through understanding towards that Bhagwan, which is Nirakar, formless, right? Unmanifest. So we need to slowly move in baby steps from being just this simple body, mind, and intellect kind of equipment to understanding that there is a Bhagwan which has a form, which has a name, which has, sakar, a being that is propitiable, that is worshipable. And from that, we move to that higher state that is Nirakar, without form, just the concept of Aham Brahmasmi. Now, why is it important to worship this Bhagwan? Why is it necessary that we have to start with this kind of worship form? Because in bhakti, in this path of devotion, we will be able to gradually see the potential of what we can be eventually. And in this path, we will be able to see that beautiful, concept of Aham Brahmasmi without developing ahankar, without creating egoism, without being too proud of being, oh, I am that divine being. In Gyan Yoga, in Karma Yoga, there is a danger, there's a danger. Oh, I have so much knowledge. I can develop ahankar. In Karma Yoga also, there is a danger of developing ahankar. I do so much, I know so much. But in Bhakti Yoga, there is just devotion, there is love, there is devotion, and there is surrenderfulness. So without ahankar, we connect with the Supreme. Therefore, the first criteria of being a good, wise person is bowing down to Bhagwan before even you realize actually that I am divine. So bowing down, that's the first criteria. Then Bhagwan says there should be some tapas, there should be some austerities, tapas. So in order to actually realize Aparoksh Anubhuti, we will have to do some purification, some clearing, some cleaning. Okay, we have to be able to eliminate so many, impurities, negativities that we have been collecting for so many lifetimes. Impurities, so many desires, so many negative avguns, so many old habits that we have collected, so many patterns of behavior, all that has to become cleansed. And doing that cleansing is not pleasurable. Cleaning and taking out, elimination, old habits, old patterns of behavior is very, very difficult. It is uncomfortable. It will not be easy. And therefore, to be able to do it in spite of the discomfort, to be able to do what is required, even though it is so difficult, will be required. And therefore, that will be only possible through tapasya. So what is tapasya? It's the action that you have to do to be able to do what is difficult in spite of being difficult. For what reason? For your nature, for your goal, for being able to get Aparoksh Anubhuti. So all this will require tapasya. You will want many things. You will want to fulfill your desires. You will want to just do comfortably, do what you have always used to what you have been used to. But not doing that will be the tapasya that you will require. All right. Then Bhagwan says, you will have to perform all your duties. Means when we are birthed in a human form, we will get a birth as where you will be able to fulfill all your duties, all your desires from previous births. You will get a birth in a particular family. You will be able to get the birth according to your community, of your geographical, location. So all those things that you have to do will depend on the prarabdha karma that you require from previous other patients. So in order to be able to anubhav the direct experience, you will have to exhaust all the prarabdha that you have been joined in this particular birth. Okay, so whatever you are experiencing in this particular life, which is your prarabdha karma, you will be able to do that, and you will have to do it according to your actions, according to your varna, and according to your ashram. However you have got prarabdha karma, you will have to do all the actions according to your gunas, all actions towards your tendencies, according to your particular mental makeup, as well as the stage of life. When you will do that, slowly, you will be able to exhaust your prarabdha, because you are working according to your ashram and varna. All right. So let's see what are the 3 things so far you have to get in order to be a wise, good person. 1, you have to worship Bhagwan. 2, you will need to do some tapasya. 3, you will have to do your dharma according to your varna and ashram. 4th, finally, once you have surrendered and done bhakti, you have surrendered to Bhagwan, what will happen? Your ahankar will slowly be lessened. Second, when you will do tapasya, Slowly, 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 your negative tendencies, all your avguns will slowly, slowly start getting destroyed. And you will purify your antakaran. 3, when you will perform your duties and dharma according to ashram and varna, you will eliminate your prarabdha karma. When you will do all these things, you will now be ready to actually implement now the fourfold qualifications required for Gyan Yoga. Now you will be able to do it. What are those 4 qualifications required for understanding knowledge? Vivek, Vairagya, Shat Sampatti, Mumukshutva. So there is a lot to be done before you will be able to have that experience of Aparoksh Anubhuti. What are these 4 qualifications? Vivek, Vairagya, Shat Sampatti, and Mumukshutva. Slowly, slowly, from shlok after shlok, we will be discussing these 4 qualifications. Today, we have understood how to be sabd, how to be good, how to be wise. So think about it yourself. Have you practiced the bhakti, the ability to surrender to Bhagwan? Have you practiced tapas, austerities? Have you performed your dharma according to varna and ashram? If so, you will definitely be able to be ready to take up the 4 qualifications for learning the Gyan Yoga, and by that you will get a Aparoksh Anubhuti. Think about it. Next Thursday, I will see you once again for the next Vivek, Vairagya, Shat Sampatti, and Mumukshutva. Okay?